Hi, this is Carl with another SOP video for managed service providers. Today I want to talk about the beauty of the 90-day probation period. In the last two videos, I talked about the hiring process and the evaluation process for employees. But let's go somewhere in the middle. After you hire them and before you start evaluating them, you need to set up, as part of your hiring process, a 90-day probation period. This does many things for you. First of all, it lets the employee know there are requirements, and if you don't meet them, you can't hang out with us anymore. We'll invite you to the barbecue, but you don't get to do tech support in this company. Now, you do have to check with the laws of your state and see exactly what this needs to look like and what's allowed and what's required. But no matter what your state laws are, you should be able to put in a 90-day period that says, look, you must perform to this level or you have to go away. Now, why would you put in a 90-day probation? First of all, somebody might really honestly not work out. And if you're hiring a temp, you can just send them away and the next day another temp comes. But if you're hiring an employee, you really need to work at making sure that they are going to work with your company. And if they tricked you during the hiring process and don't have the skills they said, or you just saw something that impressed you and so you hired them, but you didn't really test to see whether they had it, you got to make sure that people can perform the way that you need them to perform. Second, you may have a situation where somebody comes in and they need just a little extra training in order to meet the job requirements. That's cool. They need to have 90 days to get that done. And if they don't pass the exam or they don't take the class or they don't get the training, you need to be able to say, look, I have to let you go. You didn't meet the requirements. For about 15 years, we had a requirement that everybody had to be Microsoft certified in something. I don't even care what it is. You have to have some Microsoft certification so that I could go to my clients and say, we hire only Microsoft certified professionals, right? That was a big thing for a while. So if somebody was hired and they didn't have that, well, we gave them 90 days, but if they didn't meet it, then we had to let them go. Now, here's the truth. Nobody ever failed to take and pass an exam. Just saying. They might have worked hard and it might have been difficult and they might not have enjoyed it very much, but they did pass that exam. During the period of the small business specialist, there's probably maybe 5 or 6 years where we made a big point of saying everybody's a Microsoft certified small business specialist, meaning they took the 70-282 exam and passed that. And so we would tell people, you have to come in with a Microsoft certification and you have to pass that exam. So you have some general understanding of what it means to support small businesses with Microsoft-centric solutions. Again, some people had trouble with that, but everybody eventually passed that exam. Now, for those of you with larger companies who want to put an emphasis on training, let me tell you a little lesson that I learned. After we went through all of that, I started telling people, hey, I will give you a little bump in pay, a bump in the hourly pay, every time you pass any Microsoft exam. Or to be honest, any Cisco exam, any SonicWall, any exam you want to take that's directly relevant to what the technology we support. And here's what happened. No one other than my brother, who was president of the company, Nico, whose company I bought, and Michael, who bought my company, other than those 3 people with very much an owner's mentality, nobody else ever took one of those exams in order to get a bump in pay because it wasn't required. Now, maybe I motivated them wrong. I'm open to all kinds of criticism. But the point is, if you require something, it will happen. If you do not require it, it might not happen. Daniel Pink says that money stops motivating people after they get enough. So if you're paying a technician $60, $70, $80,000, they may have enough that they don't need a 50-cent bonus. They don't need an extra $1 an hour. And so you can't motivate them with that kind of money. As a result, they might actually like the skill level improvement more than the money. Just be aware that that's what's going on. But the bottom line is, if you want something required for a job, you need to make it happen in the first 90 days. Because there's no point in hiring somebody and saying, hey, sometime in the next year, I want you to learn this technology. No, you have to set it up early on. So it's really important to have that 90-day probation period. Finally, one of the most important things that I think you need to do is to build the culture of your company and make sure that you don't let it run wild. And that requires you to sit down with people after 90 days and make sure they understand where they fit in the culture. If there's something that they need to work on, you need to get a handle on that as quick as you can. That's why those quarterly evaluations are so useful. They're not so close together that people feel like you're bugging them, but they're close enough together that you can give them guidance throughout the year, and there aren't any real surprises on the 90-day probationary period. Finally, when it comes to 90-day evaluations, there may be things that people are simply not eligible for until they've been there 90 days. The most obvious one of these is health insurance. If you have benefits, maybe participating in a retirement plan or whatever, it makes a lot of sense to not give that to everybody on day one. Even vacation accrual doesn't have to happen during the probation period. So figure out that you've got an employee who's going to stay and is going to contribute to your company, and then give them the benefits, and then spend the money on them, and then take that relationship to the next level. They have put in the time it takes, they have demonstrated that they're a good fit, and now they get the rewards of health insurance or whatever else you have to offer. Now, is there a test? Is there a final thing? If you've been doing quarterly evaluations, then there is nothing else you need to do on the 90-day evaluation except say, congratulations, now you get to have these benefits. You get to have health insurance or whatever it might be. The bottom line with 90-day evaluation periods is the same as with everything else. Run your business with intention. Design the things you do and the SOPs that you promulgate so that they contribute to the better service that you deliver and to having a better culture in which you deliver it. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Polachuk wishing you the best of luck in your managed service business.